Hello, and should be live. I'm switched over to OBS. Try guard against the drop, the stream dropping out. Well, my internet dying and the stream dropping out. But it's a long time since I used it, so I'm not fully sure I've updated it. I think I'm bigger than I should, like in the corner. I should be. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be saying it's all live and running and whatever. Yeah? Oh, okay. Well, hello and welcome to a bit more Factorio. I'm Trismegistus, and this is my Saturday stream. I'd like the game up. I've actually been doing a heck of a lot. It's my goal to get this series kind of finished, knocked on the head, shall we say, in a short amount of time. And to achieve that, I have been busy. We're back at the base, so we're back in the centre here, and I have been. You'll see a lot of tags on the map. Let's turn that off for a minute. Where I've kind of decided things I'm going to do. But the big thing to show off to start with is this. So there's now an annex to the base, which is solar. Now, I've only put... So I'm measuring these in... So this is basically like 10 roboports from there to there, and then 10 roboports from there to there. We need 4, basically. I've only done 2, and as you can see, I've put in the artillery extensions of, starting to work out. We're going to need 4. So in other words, this needs to be doubled. And during the week, the game's kind of been running. I've put in a load of solar, the blueprint, and then come back and, let it fill that out a bit and then put in a bit more and fill that out, etc., etc. As well as doing the actual extension. That took a while. And as you can see, we're getting attacks. This is doing what it's meant to do. Loads of artillery clearing out things. I think we're almost ready for an extra one of these. The other advantage of this particular, why I did 2 and then sort of closed it off, is that I can basically just copy and paste this over. Not quite as it is, but once we're out, 4, I can just say copy and paste these walls on top of each other, or next to each other. Replace the actual artillery bits and then just fill out, as I say, the stuff. But yeah, we need double the amount of solar in this section, and I'll show you for why. Now, well, actually, what we'll do, because what I'm going to try and do today is fill out. Well, I also did an extension out here. I'm going to try and fill out the gold resources today and tomorrow probably. I kind of realised last week was a mistake, in the sense that I tried to switch over to bot-based mining. And the thing about bots, they sort of exchange simplicity and convenience in the design and things like that, and size. They take up less room for power. But power is an issue. We're nowhere near having enough power. And if I was to do all of this as bot mining as well, we would need a ridiculous amount of more power, and we've already got a ridiculous demand already. And what I'm going to switch this over to belt-based mining, to get round that, or to reduce the power, any power issues. Because the goal basically is to get rid of nuclear. And what I can actually probably show you, is that worth firing up now? Because I've hooked everything up here. This is all hooked up. As you can see, I've put loads of outposts on, mining facilities on. I've done loads of trains here, so we're all ready to go, basically. I've done extra trains on the, on the gold and purple. All the train stops there. So we're all ready to go, apart from we need resources here, and we need more power. Because the issue that I'm going to have to solve with the power, basically, is that we can't run the base and do research with the power demands that we don't have enough power. No, that's not quite right. We now have enough power to run the base, as in doing research and outposts happening and all that. But we're reliant on the nuclear kicking in to do that. So if I show you the power chart. So basically, we're now up to peak 48 gigawatts of solar. But that's peak. So basically, the actual sort of demand is this combination here of accumulators and steam turbines. So what's that? That's 43, is it? I think it works out at 16 plus 17. No. Sorry. Is that right? 30. Yeah, 43. 33. Can't do it in my head. 16, 26. Yeah, 33. Yeah, 33 gigawatts, right? Well, what you basically can do is multiply that by 0.7. And 48 times 0.7, now I'm definitely not going to do that in my head, but it comes out to about like 35 or 36 or something like that. And that's basically so... No, it's a bit more than that, isn't it? About 38 or something like that. But basically, this is just the nothing's happening number. So this is the base is just sat here ticking along, you know, making solar panels and making belts and those sorts of simple tasks that don't really require a lot of power, because I've not got a solar factory, which I should have, and stuff like that. But you know, so the steady state base just running, that's now what we can support. I couldn't even support that before, not properly. Not without the steam running continuously. And what happens if we kick in the research, in particular these go up to about 10.5. No, it's about, I think it's about 12 gigawatts. But also those kick in, that goes up to about 1.5 gigawatts. And, you know, those kick in, they're a gigawatt. Then you've got all the, you know, inserters and... so that's about half a gigawatt. That only goes up to about sort of 400 meg, because there's such a high level of what should we call it? The resource bonus thing, that they're basically sort of switched off most of the time. They do one insertion and it fills half a chest type of thing. But basically, all of this kicked in together requires about 15-ish gigawatts. And that's what the steam turbines provide. So basically what happens is, if I try and run the science, then this goes up basically to max, pretty much. And these just run continuously. And that then gives it particular UPS issues. I mean, we're going to end up with like 30 UPS, because this is horribly optimized from that point of view. But in particular, an easy win there is to kill off all the solar, and kill off all the nuclear, and I can't do that without... In fact, I should get moving. Let's get everything going here while I natter on. But we can't do that, basically, until... I'm just going to take everybody over. We don't really need everyone, but we'll just go over there. I'm even going to bring the... Oh, I didn't hook those up to me, did I? We're even going to bring the... landfillers, because we might need to... In fact, I should click them independent, because they haven't got any legs in. It's easier just to send them over separately, and then we'll go over there and drag everyone else with us. I need to decide how I'm going to hook the rail up. That's one of the key things, because I've put these two rail lines in. See what I've done here? It's like a set of loops, effectively. So this is a loop here, and this is a loop here. That's a loop there, and that's a loop there. But by setting the directions of the inserts, it determines where the trains go. And effectively, these three are pulling from here. But as you can see already, you know, it's really heavily drawing on the resource patches. And then these three are over here. And it's all uneven. So some of these I probably need to switch to, you know, the other direction. But as I say, we need to switch to belt-based mining to save power, basically. Because why I didn't think of this, I don't know. But obviously the bots draw really heavily on power. I mean, roboports are quite heavy just as, you know, default not doing anything. But then when the bots start charging, it just sucks away the power, and we don't have spare power. Now what we can also do, I put some notes, as I say, because I was trying to work things through. And basically, one of the big things is I'm virtually at a point where I don't need any more modules. All of the science builds are done. All the science is set up. I'm doing mining, so I do need a few more drills. But once we've got this in, that's that. And I've got 20,000 speed modules in reserve, so we can just have it like ticking over at a small number. So basically, these big builds here where I've done the 12 beacon job, I don't need any of that, so I can just... I mean, I won't take them all out, I don't think, but, we can just have a couple of them to oh, no, in fact, for these, I don't need to bother, but for over here, because, obviously, prod modules slow them down, so we can just have a couple of beacons left, just to power them. If you just do... And when I sort of realised that, we can basically, if we do, and actually test it with this. So, if you look at this here, there are 6,500 beacons in there. Oh, something on my screen. There's 6,500 beacons in there. And if we do a quick power check, so you notice there's 60,000 beacons total, drawing 29 gigawatts. And it's roughly hard, because it's like 480 kilowatts per beacon. So if we chop out 6,000 of them, so basically I get rid of just about all of the beacons, apart from a few to compensate for prod modules, then that saves us about 10%, which now is 3 gigawatts, or give or take. I've also got a ridiculous number of lasers kicking about, and I've already started, so with these bits here, where we've got the new walls, I've already taken like the lasers out. But once I've done a few range extensions, I don't need these to be quite so heavily powered, quite so heavily defended, because it'll just be expansion attacks and pollution and that sort of stuff, and a couple of rows of lasers are fine, with the gun turrets in particular. And also, one of the things I've discovered is these are actually quite UPS heavy. So we can get rid of them as well to help with that a little bit. Not that it's a lot, it really is a little help. So yeah, so we can take out maybe a third of the laser turrets. And that's about half a gigawatt. We don't need as many radars, they're mostly just leftovers. I can get rid of a lot of radars. I say this can come down if I switch to bot mining and just generally do a bit of tidying up. So I think we can save about sort of 4 or 5 gigawatts of power across the base, which therefore, if we add, because this got me about, what was it? It was about 8 gigawatts. So another one gives me another 8 gigawatts. No, it'll be a bit more. It's a bit more than that, I think, actually. But it's something, and there's, I've got spaces I can stick in just little extra bits. So if we drop the power demand by about, 5 gigawatts, we get maybe 10 more, then we can get rid of these permanently. And I would say we're already slightly over, doesn't quite run at capacity without nuclear. There was something else I identified as a power saving as well. Oh, these guys. So we don't need... I've decided we're not going to do any science here. So all the science will be at this. So not only can we get rid of the the beacons, we can get rid of all the assemblers and the actual science things themselves altogether. And that'll save us quite a bit as well. I've still got stuff kicking about. This is like the other thing. There's no resources left here. I just never got rid of the construction. So there's all sorts of little tweaks we can do, as I say, which might get me about sort of 6 gigawatts or so, I think, in total. And assuming that, and also, so this, so, if we drop it by 6 and gain 8, that's about 14, 15, and we should be able to run the base then on solar. Right, yes, so we're down here. And I say, what I need to do, therefore, is having, had last weekend come up with a bot-based version of mining, simplified bot-based, we now need to do a simplified, basically I need to replace these with belts, essentially is what I need to do. So what we'll actually do, even though everybody's here, we'll hop out. Because the other thing, with the bots, this was causing me a lot of trouble here, particularly with the coal, because if I put the network too close to one of these, things here, there's a thing here that requests coal, and it would suck all the coal in. So I have actually done weird things. There's a copper one, I think, is a very good example. We're sticking stuff in chests anyway for the bots. What the heck is it? It was this one. Here we go. So I'm doing weird stuff anyway, and it's like, well, we might as well just go belt-based anyway. Right, so I say what we need to do is we need another new set of blueprints. Essentially a replacement. That is this. Do I want my bots to... I do, I guess, don't I? Oh, I should probably... What I should do... We'll get... Because Pinky's got the mining stuff on there, for example. Might as well grab some extra chests if you got them. I've got plenty of belts. Oh. Still got that. Yeah, so as I say, we will sort of do a... a belt-based version of this, which essentially is going to be undergrounds. Because I quite like the density. So my other one it has the power poles on the outside, but this, when you do this type of thing, it's more dense, basically, which is kind of useful. Right. So what we can do is basically swap out. Now, you have to be a little bit careful because we want it to tile. So if we have these like this, how many have we got? If it goes under, out, under, out, under, out, under, out. Yeah, so that'll connect up. And then we can just... That didn't quite work, does it? So that power pole. Right, so if we rearrange the power poles so they're always there, like that, then that should tile. We'll have to see. Actually, we'll just copy. Let's pick this up. Essentially, because it overlaps on the edges, basically. So that's what I'm worried about in terms of tiling. It properly overlaps. So if we do a replacement on that, because that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to keep the bot-based version. You see what I mean? It has this, overlapping replacement thing. So we want to check that tiles correct way, so that yes, that works perfectly. So we'll have to, there'll always be this tidying up thing. Well, they can leave it, but in fact we might leave it this time. It'll be quicker. Yeah. So what we can do instead is every time we've finished one and we're happy, we stick in a belt instead of a bot. Yeah. Oops, let's make sure it tiles that. I just slapped this down wherever, I guess, at the edge, so not actually necessarily a good place for... And let's pick it up. A better place to start this blueprint. Probably... Oh, those have been assigned to the network. Because we're in the construction network, obviously, so... maybe we do that there-ish. Yeah, that's right. There we go. I say a bit of tidying up each time. Cool. Okay. I mean, I don't have a lot of this stuff on me, which is why it's not filled it out. Right. Assuming anyone is watching. I don't think they are, but do let me know on the levels and stuff, as I say, because I have switched over to OBS and I'm not convinced. I find it more difficult to check with OBS that it's set up that the way you want, because the way you switch between, because you can do video recording as well as streaming, but it's like some settings overlap and some don't, and it's a bit messy. So I also tried to take out, there's like a delay thing that it has by default, which I find a little bit confusing. So if anyone is watching, then do let me know if there's any problems with levels. I can't see anyone watching. The advantage of Twitch chat, it's got more automatic integration with like the stream things. You don't need to have multiple. I do because, you know, just in case an emergency and stuff, but you don't need to have more things open. But this one you do. OBS. It's like I've lost the notifications, so if someone follows, I don't know that that's happened. Right, so the next one in the list is this. Now, with mining and stuff, in fact, with these, can I just use my old ones? That's the question. You know, can I use these ones? Yes and no. We don't need any of the rubbish with the outposts and all that sort of stuff. But where the heck is it? Where's the smelting? That's that one, that's that one, that's that one. So it's things like that, you see. Can I just use that, or do I want to come up with something different? There you go. So that's the smelting. I'd quite like to squish it up, I think. I also wasn't massively impressed with my previous design, if I'm totally honest. Because I was trying to make it like small but not small, if you see what I mean, that it would fit into a sensible outpost size, and all my outposts became huge anyway. But we don't need a copper and an iron one now, because that side of it doesn't matter. I also don't need to worry as much about orientation, but I do need to worry about. In fact, let's bring them over, and we'll fill this out. Because one of the things, in fact, this probably wasn't a very good patch to start with, because we're right next to the copper. So we need to go either to this or to this. This is the other. I'm not gonna. I need to work, because these are obviously facing the wrong direction and stuff. But I need a good way of hooking all of this together that doesn't block all the other trains. If we work in this direction, I think. So we want the smelting there, and then the actual station there. Okay, so let's have a look at what this smelting looks like. Because one of the things I'm thinking with this, obviously we know that these produce way more than a belt's worth. And I also discovered this thing that if you just drag across, it flips all of the undergrounds round, which I never knew before. So we can just sort of turn everything round without too much worry. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I need to do balancing and all that sort of stuff again. But what we're talking about is probably a 7 to 8 balancer, aren't we? For each one. So how am I going to weave those round? So if that ends up coming around this way, you know, all these top ones, and then we cut, you know, we put all of these ones into here. Which way around is that? That's fine. So I'm probably going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bit of spare room. So we're going to end up with 2 sets of, you know, balancers basically. One there, and say one there. And then we need to feed these in a generic way into this. But, see, this is the problem. That's a crap blueprint for what we want to do. Whereas the other one is a crap blueprint in terms of feeding it in. Okay, let's just start from first principles again. Let's get rid of all the wood. It won't take long to design a new one, but I was hoping we might better just stamp it down and edit it, and I don't think we can really do that. Right. Let's leave. Oops. Bit of space there. What's that? 6 beacons worth. That'll do. So this is our first. That work? Yeah. This is our first one. So what I'm thinking essentially is that we end up with a new. Where am I? A new station. Way down here, because it's going to be a lot bigger. That's sort of the problem. Which is some, oh god, which is some new version, if I can find it, of that, for example. Okay. I can tweak. I can make more room here because this was the problem. Really, I put everything too close together. But it's going to be some new version of that. I need to fit it into this sort of a gap. What are you lot doing? Brilliant. Well done. Right. I mean, what I'm intending with these, you see now, is we will go still 12 beacon because I want to stick with that principle. But we now need to fit, rather than have the gap and give ourselves more space, we need to fit more, you know, more stuff in, basically. So this is going to be bonkers in terms of undergrounds. Let's get some undergrounds. Underground. It's wombling. Wombles of Wimbledon. Promenade. Right. Has no one got any... Oh, we go. Splitters. So, obviously I can put this in any one of those 4 locations. The question is whether I try and feed it in and feed it out, you know, together, as it were, if that makes sense. So, do I come in, you know, here... try to come out, you know, as it were, in the same direction? Or do I, you know, come out downwards type of thing? Because we could put this like that, you see. I could do my favourite trick of the double-sided thing. Like that. We could come in here like that. And we could have that there. I'll put that there. Obviously then pod modules in there. I won't have any speeds. So why would I? And this is a more compact version. And we would put 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, 9. It's also more agnostic, isn't it? Is one of the big advantages. In the sense that, you know, it doesn't matter what's being fed in, whereas with the requesters and stuff I had to have 2. What I might do actually is only do 8. 2, 3, 4. Because it's 9 to fill a belt, I believe. I might have misremembered that. But if we only have 8, and then do, you know, because what I'm thinking is I tile this basically, and then I can just drag it however many I want. And if I've got a small patch, like that one for example, I only set it up with 1 station. If I've got a big patch, I can set it up with multiple stations. And one of the big advantages with belts is I can just, so like here, I don't have to landfill any of this. I can just take the belts over there. Or across that, you know, that gap there. You know, the bit that I've already done. Might not fit all of them in there, but, you know, put it here sort of thing. You know, I don't need to worry too much about travel time, which you do with bots. Yeah, basically this is enough to fill 1... It's not, but it's, you know, it's 1 belt's worth of stuff. Yeah, okay, so if we tile this... Does that make sense? Has it all got stuff in? And it's quite a bit more... You do gain quite a bit by having, you know, things. And obviously with these... Oh, that's a point. I need to do a new coal loader. But that's what I've probably put over there, isn't it? Let's put it out of the way. We can get rid of this, because it's going to be a duplicate. Get rid of this. Duplicate. So we need mineage generic. We need this to be belt based one rather than a bot based. Okay, so let's edit that. Copy that. Actually, let's put... Because one of the things I wasn't massively impressed with myself on my other designs is I didn't put any balancers on them. And that's not like me. I like balancers. You know, throughput and, you know, product balancers and all that sort of stuff. So we can include that in the blueprint as well. Let's find the new version there. Edit this. That. Oh. I'm happy with that. Apart from we need to set it up to tile. Snap to grid, relative, and I wish you could just drag these. So if we make this 9, because we're never going to, you know, do it that way, but, you know, whatever. Then that should tile. Otherwise, I'm never going to drag it horizontally. It'll always be. I mean, obviously, orientation is dependent on what I end up actually doing. But there you go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missed. 8. I'll probably have to do the hooking of the belts up much more bespoke is the thing. rather than the outposty one where it's all set up belts, but that's fine. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I'm happy with that, I think. These guys are all from this network. Yeah, okay. Right, let's get the spiders to sort of fill one of these out. And I might as well hook one of these up. Oops. The whole thing with the, not being quite enough production and all that sort of stuff is a sort of a, because this is going to produce like 7 belts worth of stuff and spread it across 8. And all that really affects, if I put balancers in, which I didn't on the other outposts, but if you put balance in, that becomes more a question of the speed with which it reloads rather than, or loads up, rather than, the fact that you can end up with trains without any stuff on or anything like that. And that's one of the reasons I was putting in loads more outposts than I technically needed. Because if they take a while to load up, then you need more of them. Because, if a train needs, or a build needs resources now, then it needs them now. It can't really wait. So it needs other options to go to. So that's kind of why I've ended up with more. Just hook these in. Oh. Have I not got any of them? Okay. I think those are all filled out anyway, aren't they? We're not missing any speed things. You see, it's only a couple of them that are running because it just fills a belt immediately. And I could split it across 8, and like that's only half a belt, So I'm not massively fussed about that. This is going to be in the wrong place, isn't it? That's dumb of me. Get out of the way. So much not. Oh, I've missed one. Nuts. Because I'm going to need that to be. We're going to need a second one of these, basically. Which isn't bad, actually. That's about the same size, isn't it? Huh. Yeah, this is to feed the second station, basically. Damn, I'm going to have a look full of rubbish. Let's just get rid of this to start with. Go, and then I don't want the spider. It's painful getting stuff out of the spider. We'll take them out of the way, and then pick it up. So my bots do it, hopefully. Oh, and then we can just chuck some of this on more furnaces. doing? Go. That's just a save from, say, the network bot's doing it or me doing it, because you then have to clear all that up again. So you're almost not really saving any time. Yeah, I need to take them down there, and these would interfere and all that sort of stuff, so that's why. Not that this is really in a great place anyway, but there we go. And you're to there. Oh. There are. Something like that. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 5, 6. Done. One too many, maybe? Six, 7, 8. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. So what weird's happened there then? Oh no, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's fine. Copy this up. That's. And now we just need to put these across, and we have some pre-existing. And that and that. Okay. Go there. Oh. Of course, there's only 7. Hang on. Okay. Let's have everyone run round and fill that out then. Well, as best we can. We're going to run into the classic problem of not having enough of anything, basically. Right, so let's go and have a look at the other end. So the station I put over here is presumably the coal. Does that matter? No. Let's get rid of all this rubbish. And all of this rubbish. Because I'm going to make this wider, basically, so that I can put balancers on it. So, you know, it's a bigger gap in there. So, how much room do I actually need? I need... Because we're going to be going from... Going to do 1 to 6s. It might actually be easier if we do like 1 to 5. Oh no. 1 to 6 isn't that... 1 to 5 isn't that much smaller. But yeah, we basically need that there. We need... Haven't got any. These lads here. We will finally abandon. Am I going to put... Let's just go with these. Because when you divide it across 6, it's kind of doable. See what I mean? It's a lot. We're going to need to, move this quite a bit far up. Question is how we load in, more generally. But I'm not going to bother with refueling on these, basically. So that'll save us quite a bit of room and fuss and bother. The reason I was doing the double-ended refueling on the outposts is because of the distance they were travelling. When it... Oh! Do that. Pick the wrong thing. Sorry. Oh. There we go. I've not used OBS in ages. But yeah, if a train's going, from sort of here all the way to here, although it's nuclear fuel and stuff, so it probably wouldn't matter, but, there's a possibility it could maybe run out of fuel, particularly if it came around this weird system here and it got lost and it went, all over the place. And somehow it had not got loaded up at the main station because the bots hadn't put the thing in, or whatever scenario you can think of that would result in that. So it's then got the option of refueling at both ends. So that was kind of where... Let's put this quite a bit far up. That's why I had refueling there, but if all it's doing is this short journey here, there's no way it's going to run out of fuel. Right, so... I say the question... What I'm thinking, you see, is we have one side being loaded, or one train being loaded, with... on this side, with the belts, connected to this side, and one down this side. And we maybe do something where we... I'll explain it when we get to it. So, let's put these in first. Do I want to rotate them or flip them? Let's go with flip. Okay. I should actually do this with Ghost, shouldn't I, really? So I'm bound to have to pick it up at some point. So this would be there. And the idea, or what I'm thinking, essentially, because I could do undergrounding. There's no undergrounds in here at all. So we could... Got any under... we could... Oh, I should add on... That's what I should do. I should keep extending this background. Because that'll be what I do during the week, is just extending this further and doubling it up. I'm not intending for this to be on stream. But my anticipation is that by next weekend, next weekend stream, will essentially be the turning it on and seeing where the problems are. Because I've identified some things that I think are going to be problematic. So, for example, here, where I've crammed all of the stations in together, I think the trains are going to get in each other's way. Because I've not... Unlike, say, the purple, where I've sort of spread it across lots of trains, these are quite concentrated. These are going to empty out very quickly. So we could quickly end up with lots of trains trying to get on the same bit of track. And they are very close together, these. So one train coming out of here blocks all of the other trains. And that's not great for throughput. But what we can do is we can literally take all of this, stick it up here, because we got... And I can grab this coal patch as well. But we got water there, you see. So it's not that different. It is, but it's, not going to be that problematic feeding it there. Because I can put the actual build right close up there and get the water across. And it's not too far. And, I can just rearrange the stations and stuff. But that takes out... We've got coal and oil they can both go up there. And then what I can do is I can essentially move these down. And I could also probably put one on the side here or something like that. So we have a great big line going up to the coal and the oil. And maybe connect them there or something. So actually it's a corner or something. And then, you know, we could have one. We could have the copper here maybe or something, and the 2 irons there. So I think that might be a problem, but we'll have to see. What else was the other one? Here, there is something weird going on with the unloading, because several of these carriages were completely empty. I've done a bit of testing, and several of them were completely empty, and others were completely full. And I think it's because I'm feeding the 8... I think this 10 balancer doesn't work, in quotes, unless you feed it exactly what it wants. So unless you feed it 10 and output 10, it kind of breaks. And what I would need to do is stick in an 8 to 8 balancer and then either just use this as is, because then having an 8 to 8 balancer will ensure steady draw across those 8 inputs. Or I can replace this with a... because we've got, you know... and there's 10 here, so I could do then... so I could do like I did with the plastic, where we have an 8 to 8 to ensure it's all even across the entire train, and then a 4 to 5 and a 4 to 5 to split. So I can effectively use one as a balancer and one as a splitter. A balance splitter. And it's basically the same here. So I think there's going to be a problem here. The other one is I think I've made some error with the solar panels, because when I was testing it, it was just completely running out of solar panels. Oh, hello Ian. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. What was I saying? Yeah, I was testing this out, and the solar panels just like weren't being produced quick enough, and it seemed to be some issue with steel. And I think what I might have done is that these perhaps only require one, or like, so this, is it 10 steel here? I can't remember. Can't remember the number. I think it's 10. I think maybe these only require one column, and then these needed all of the others, because I had 3 of them hooked in and 2 going up there. Or something like that, or it might have been 3 or something. And these were like, you know, not using hardly any of the smelters, and these were completely out of steel. And I think I've messed up that this should have been connected to more. So I stuck in a load of extra steel, so hopefully that's gonna fix the issue. But I don't know. You might, in fact, Ian, if I don't know if you're listening or just watching or whatever, but I've switched over to OBS because I've had some disconnection issues with my internet, and OBS supports reconnection, like automatic reconnection. And I haven't used OBS in ages, and I don't know that I've set the audio levels up. So if, you know, can you hear the game? Is the game too loud? Am I too loud? Or any issues like that? Just say I haven't used OBS in months, and it's updated several times, and I think it changed a lot of the settings. So say if you're there and you're listening, and it will enter a bit, you know, act like a guinea pig for me. Great if you could let me know if the audio's okay. Yes, so say, what was the other one that I think might cause... well, I know these are going to cause problems. So these junctions were set up. I don't know why I did this, to be honest with you. It's because so these junctions allow the artillery trains and outpost trains, these ones up here, to go to the outposts. But because it's 2 separate networks done in 2 separate ways, this junction is just a massive bottleneck. And I've got all, for example, here, you know, we've got all of the blue trains, all of the gold, military chains, basically going out to the same set of outposts. And it's just going to, you know, if a single outpost train goes out up here, it just causes the whole system to just, like, clog. So I'm going to have to rethink doing them. And here, I mean, I don't even need these junctions here because there are no outposts for the trains to go to. So I can get rid of them quite easily. It's not going to be an issue for red and green. Purple should be okay because it's got the 2. And the fact that it's a big loop. It's this that's going to be a problem. Sounds great. Cool. Thank you very much. I say, it's been ages since I used OBS, and I was like... In fact, it sort of reminded me why I stopped using it, because it's quite a... Like, well... how to put it? It's quite a well put... You know, it's got a lot of features to it, but it does a terrible job of explaining itself. And it's like, in order to work out anything about the program, you've kind of got to watch like tutorials and stuff. So what I'm hoping here is I can probably weave these round in such a way. That's going the wrong way. But is that going to work? Probably won't work. But let's have a look. See. I'm sort of hoping I can basically bring them in each time. What would be the logic? Let's just get these in first. Oh, got them. Oops. That. I don't think it's going to save me any space, is it? Right, let's move this up again. Right. See, I mean, I should have done all ghostlies before, but... Oh? Where are they getting spiders up there? No. Anyway, so would that work? Would that benefit me? Because what I'm thinking is I can actually go like that, you see. Is that going to make any difference? I don't think it's going to make any real difference, is it? Because over here, this is coming that way. You know, I'm not going to be able to feed that round in such a way that... Oh, well. Doesn't make any difference, it's just... Would have been nice. I was sort of hoping that they would, like, interweave. But in order to interweave them, I would have to have the station further up, I think. Because, so if you imagine this ends up as a cascade of, like this. And each time they come down one, by the time we get up here... going to be quite thin. Just going to be one wide. And up here. In fact, would that work? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Right, so this is like this. In fact, no, that's not like that. This is here. That goes in there. Oops, that. That. Oh, I shouldn't. In fact, that can go down. So we got 1, 2, 3. This needs to be 6. That. I do this mainly because I think it might look cool. Don't know that it's particularly beneficial. Why have I run out of belts there? What's gone on? 2. That should be like that. Like that. There's something wrong here. That. No. Oh. That. Oh, no, that one shouldn't even exist. It might be easier if we get the bots in. Get them filled out. You've missed some bits. Come back. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. Now, can I interweave that basically? So what I'm thinking is I copy this. And then I flip it. It would be which flip? That flip? No. That flip? No. That one and that one. And then this. Yeah, you see, it doesn't actually interweave. Need to be there. Well, that's annoying. I mean, I could fiddle about with. Because this I could flip. Because it's not quite even, is it? If I do that. Oh, it's not. That's no benefit. What about this one? So if I did that. So that puts it one further up, doesn't it? Am I causing myself more problems than it's worth? Most certainly. Oops. Can't it be an easier way of doing this? That one. Is that going to help me? Maybe. It would be easier, actually. See if I just dragged it all down one way. So, if we do that. Pick all of them out. Copy that one. Oops. So I need to fix what I shouldn't have fixed. But to get your head around this. So that goes that way, that goes that way. Okay. And if I flip that, was that better or worse? Worse. But what we can do is have that arrive like that. No, that's too far down. So that. Do that basically. Each of the ends. Why I'm doing this, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, of course, it's 2 for rail anyway, so it's not actually really achieved much anyway. Oh well. There's some way of doing that is both pretty and effective. I'm not sure what it is. And a copy your idea, my rail loading is a mess. I know, why? Even I don't know. Where have you got to in your... Because I think last time I asked you were at Blue Circuit, so I assume you've moved on from there. Because that would have been around the sort of blue science type stage. What I could maybe do, bring it in there. What I'm doing here is completely unnecessary. I probably wouldn't fully copy this. This is me being sort of a bit silly, to be honest with you. Oh. Because it gets a bit funny. So, that's 8. So if I... That. It won't. So what I'm thinking here is we can probably get rid of this as a lane going that way. Putting one in there. Essentially we use that space, you see. These all need to become straightened. Now let's just straighten out this. Let's get rid. In fact, it might be if I just get rid of it. Launched the rocket at 88 hours. Congratulations. It's always great when you do that first rocket launch. So, I guess what I could do actually is copy that bit. So that's going to get repeated. Is that? That bit. So it needs to hook up to that. So is it your intention to sort of keep going? No, I'm trying different design ideas and upgrading belts and assembly machines. Yeah. I seem to recall my first oh, it gets a bit confused together, but I think when I did my first rocket launch, I didn't really understand what beacons were. You know, and modules and that sort of stuff. And so I basically didn't touch them. 1, 2, 3, 7. And to launch the actual rocket, basically all I did was pretty much just leave the game running. Because I was like, well, I know this produces, you know, the things I need. Even if it's doing it quite slowly, particularly the rocket control units and stuff. It was really, really slow producing them. But it made some, and I was like, it was a spaghetti mess, you know. And I was like, well, I could tear it all up. Or I could just leave it to run for, you know, an hour sort of thing. Fend off any biter attacks that come, and I will then have launched a rocket, and we could, you know, start again, basically. So I seem to say, even if that isn't quite what happened, I do seem to remember leaving quite a lot of idling time, basically with the game just running, you know, doing nothing essentially. So that should, oh no, what if I hook that up there? So if that should be that one. So, okay. I put it there. Because I literally over, you know, because I can move this 2 tiles up. I can't move it 1 tile up because of the tracks. So we can have it 2 tiles up and then it overlaps. So how would I fix that? It's a sort of solution to it. If that's like that, see, and I want to move it 2 tiles over. Should I bother? Probably not. I think I'm happy with it doing that. So there is probably a way of getting more of them overlap, and we could use undergrounds and stuff. What it can do though is I don't need these belts. I haven't used beacons yet. I've added speed module 3 to everything. Yeah, so once I eventually worked them out, as it were, very much sold on, you know, beacons. And in fact, to the extent that I try to use them, I often forget, but I try to use them, you know, during the game, as it were. So not just, you know, because there's a tendency, I think, to wait for speed module 3s because they're quite complicated to set up. There's a tendency to say, right, well, I'll just do, you know, I won't do speed module 1 and 2. I'll just do 3s. It's actually better if you do use speed modules and, you know, beacons and all that jazz, all the way through. But it is yet another thing to understand, so it's more of a sort of, once you're a bit more practiced playing through. I say, there's a way of getting those, I'm sure. So, what are you moaning about? To be, you know, overlapped as it next to each other. Not quite sure what it is. What we can do, though, we could permanently just use it as a place to put power, I guess, can we? We can. So I'm going to need to connect these two across. So... oh. Unfortunately, they don't reach. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay. Will you reach? No. Ah, so I can't use it for power. I just have to connect them at the bottom or top. Okay. Okay. Okay, so when I put balancer in, we want to add this on here. I could copy that. Do I have it? History? Really? Just grab that. Which one would it be? It would be that one. And I'll just take... oh no, it's the other one. Other way around, rather, not other one. Or... I could feed one side of the train from... oh, that would make sense, wouldn't it? And then if we get weird supply issues... yeah, let's do that. So we can connect that on that side. Can we? Oh, I need to flip these round. Do I? That one? That one. Alright. No? There we go. Yeah, okay. They consume a lot of circuits to build. Yeah, they're really circuit hungry. One of the good things about them, though, as I say, particularly if you take an approach more of, well, I'll put speeds, or prod ones in now and then replace them type of thing, is of course they're upgradable. So if you put a prod 1 in, you can eventually turn it, use it as a, convert it into a prod 2 essentially. So it does sort of save, it's like recycling, I suppose. It does save you some there. So what I'm thinking is I won't, it'll be a bespoke thing. But essentially there'll be a balancer here, depending on how many I can support, and it's usually going to be 8 coming this way. In fact, let's just make that assumption, I guess. Worth making that assumption? Yeah, that'll be okay, I think. So we'll handle any discrepancies in amount coming out of the patch on the other side, as it were. So putting in more or less of them, I think. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, we can do that. But yeah, basically here we have a 4 to 8 balancer. So that should be, it's a relatively simple one. There you go, quite small. Each time, let's get my legs back in. So you've got any goals for the sort of the end game? Are you have you got a target set, or are you just going to play till you get bored, or because I know some players, and it never really occurred to me to sort of play in this way, but some people they have one base, that they play all of their game on. They don't ever restart again, sort of thing. They'll just play that one map essentially forever, trying to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'm sort of the opposite. I'm like, say, the whole genesis of this series was once I've launched a few rockets, I get bored and start again, sort of thing. I guess really that's a bad positioning, so that we want, I guess I could leave it and then not include a balancer there, but whatever the balancer is, it'll be, if it's say 4 to 8 or whatever again, or 3 to 8 or whatever, it's always a 2-8 balancer. We feed that in there. Same on the other side. So, yeah. Oh, someone just got bloated up. Oh, it's just a bot. Let's try and at least make this a little bit symmetrical. It's lined up with the actual balancers there. Yeah. What? How far up have I actually taken it up to the... Oh, let's just be... Okay. So I've got the... I can just rename these as a generic. Just got X pickup. It's that. This is... Oops. That needs to be 32 because I've... There's a plate one. Or actually, I suppose it will work. This is sufficiently generic that I could use it for coal as well. Yeah. Doesn't matter, essentially. Because there's nothing in it that's bespoke to coal. Okay. We don't need as much coal over here, though, so that's fine. Right, has that got everything on it? So, because the whole point of this is I don't need to worry about, you know, outpost stuff. So they don't need to drop off anything else. There's no artillery or anything like that happening. It's just enough stackers to support the number of trains, loaders to load in material, thing to count the amount of resources. Now that it's got balancers on it, I'm happier with this system. Yeah, that's our new station. Cool. And we want to edit that. We want that off. Belt on. Redo that. That. Stock names we want. Awesome. So we're gonna run into our old friend, the problem of not having enough belts, but it is what it is. And to keep this base for now, my next goal is to build a roboport network. Okay, you've not played about robots. Robots. I have very mixed feelings on robots, if I'm honest. I do a lot of... I'm a really big fan of this type of thing. I'll find an example. Here we go. So, I'm delivering... Well, I'm a very big fan of restocking. If I turn that off. So, making things in... You know, putting outputs into passive providers, and then you can just have them go wherever they need to go, whether you're loading them into trains or grabbing them yourself. I really love that system. And I'm a big fan of when you get concrete's usually a fairly good example, is it? Which is the one that's always a great example? Well, these aren't too bad. So for here, for example, is that what I'm doing? So I'm getting the batteries in via some other, via bots, basically, for the laser turrets. And I could grab them from the bus rather, but it's just easier to, there's not enough, because they require 4 ingredients. That's quite difficult to load in volume. So basically, I'm using roboports to cheat, robots to cheat, basically. And I like doing that sort of thing. Bot-based loading and unloading is not my cup of tea generally, and it was a mistake to do it on this because of the power draw. We need to switch this back to belts, basically. But yeah, it's a sort of a thing. And there are a lot of frustrations I have with bots in that you have to think around them. How are we doing with clearing out? You have to think around them in that they're just dumb. They always fly in straight lines. And you're always having to sort of work round the fact that they'll just fly straight into biters and stuff. Yeah, I think we can extend again. It's fine. It's also tempting. I think sometimes people just stick in, like they cover their entire base with robots and stuff, and it's like, and then they wonder why materials aren't getting where they need to go. And it's because they've made it it's too big, basically. Too big a network. Too complex. You know, too many tasks for too many robots, basically. Right. Am I happy with that? You see, we've already run out of everything, basically. Not getting enough splitters. Ah, dear. All this way we've come, and we're back to the same problems. Right, so this is just an 8 to 8. What's that? There we go. And then we just want to hook it in, really. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. No, I don't. I mean, this is further away than it should be, but I'm not going to bother picking up this, what I've done. I needed room to work, so... Oh, what have I done there? Click that there. So, yeah. Something like that. What? Wait, have I put the balancer in? Oh, the balancer's that. Just put the belts on the wrong way. Getting along without them, I want them so I don't have to run across the base to get items. Yeah, I say they're very, very useful for delivering items to you. That's one of the best things about them. Oh, I've done that again. Is the personal logistics system. It's really, really convenient. I don't suppose I can reuse that. I imagine it'll line up. Same way. Oh, not far off though, so we could just a little tweak. One tile off. Oops. So if I... I'm trying to overthink this, aren't I? Let's just hook it back up again. Let's see if anyone's got any... I don't think they will have, but we'll see if anyone's got any. Yeah, the whole personal logistics. There is... I don't know if you had a look at mods or anything like that. There's one that's particularly convenient. That basically it sets up or creates... So when you... this is blank. This will be blank for you. Won't be anything here, and this is where you request particular items, but there's a mod that basically copies absolutely everything across, which then lets you set it all up. Because setting these up to say, right, well, I want these, and I always want these, and I never want these, and it takes ages. Because there's just so many items, basically. Yeah, there's some. And I say, I don't know whether, you know. Because as a general thing, I mean, like, PC gaming is heavily associated with modding and stuff, but I don't tend to do a lot of modding. I tend to play modding. I just tend to play the vanilla experience, as it were. I'm more than happy with that. In most games, as the developer intended, sort of thing, and sticking Thomas the Tank Engine into every single game is just not it's not my cup of tea, sort of thing. But the whole modding system in Factorio, in fact, this is wrong, isn't it? Because I forgot to connect the power up. In fact, I haven't even got any power. In fact, I haven't. Oh, I need to redo this blueprint altogether, don't I? Because I never hook these chests up, basically. Right, let's do that then. But yeah, the modding in Factorio, it's basically. Oh, that's wrong. I always forget which key it is to. Oh, not that one. Disconnect, is it? Control? No, not control, is it? Alt? There we go. Are they all connected? I can't really see without any power. Let's stick some power on it first. Because I need... What do I need? I need... one of these, probably. Actually, let's think out. So if I put... Is that... Yeah, it needs to be about there. Can I get this to there? But yeah, there's loads and loads, particularly quality of life mods. So this has hooked itself up to every power pole going. That's a quick way of... Let's get rid of that. Go down. It doesn't have a radar on it either. Oh, it's been really sloppy. Right. Now will you connect? Yes, you will. Okay. Will you connect? You will if you go there. Okay. Let's plop one of them in there. Same? No. Why is that not the same? It's 3. Why is that different between those? So it's the same circuit set. Oh, it's because I'm overlapping the wrong thing. What a... There we go. Oh, it's on the opposite side. That's why it's different. Anyway, so that gets us power there. We can then put... We hook this up. Say that. No. Don't like that. There, maybe? There. And then we can pop a radar in. If I put it there, and it should cover it all, yeah. And also if I end up deleting the second one, that's fine. I'd like to get the creative mod. Yeah, I mean, there is actually... So they enabled an editor that you can get at... I can never... I just use the creative mod. Because it's basically the same thing. But there is in vanilla game, there is an editor that essentially does the same job. But say it's sort of I can't remember. I think you just do it in the console commands. So basically, there's like it's in the wiki. You can enable the editor, but I say creative mode basically does the same thing. I really like creative mode for designing. I wouldn't want to play the game that way, sort of thing. But that's a great one. There's also things like alien biomes and stuff, which is just like I say. There's lots of quality of life mods. A very very popular one is called Squeak Through. And Squeak Through, I don't think I've got any examples here, but there are some. Well, Squeak Through. So trees have a ridiculously large hitbox, and Squeak Through. I think that's Squeak Through that does that, but it shrinks the size of a lot of the hitboxes so that you can, as the name suggests, you can squeak through gaps. And it basically lets you run over pipes and stuff. And it's just a sort of slightly more convenient. Or long reach. I mean, you can do long reach yourself with a console command, but long reach would be so that cannot reach. It massively increases that distance, and it just makes everything a little bit easier. And it's worth looking at some of the. I mean, I wouldn't. If you achievement hunting, they disable achievements mods, so that's always something worth bearing in mind. But if you want all the achievements, but it's worth looking at the quality of life stuff. I was setting up the green wires, wasn't I? Just to see if there's something that slightly annoys you, sort of thing. It's like one of the things. I don't think that's connected properly, is it? What is that connected to? I think I've wired that up weirdly, so I'm going to start again. Because I've confused myself. But yeah, it's worth looking at that. Because if there's something that particularly annoys you, there's probably a mod that solves it because somebody else. That's better. Somebody else will have been annoyed by it as well. But I haven't. But there are a lot of really good, or people say they're really good, like complete overhaul mods. I wouldn't, you're new to the game, I wouldn't even consider playing with these yet until you sort of had your fill, as it were. And I've never. I kind of started Crash Factorio 2, which is one of the famous ones. That needs to go in there. But I never really. Well, I didn't get anywhere with it, sort of thing. Is that everything hooked up? I think it is. So I should just be able to copy all of that now. Yeah, so it's one of the things I would say. It's another really good thing about Factorio is that if you are sort of like, interested in mods, willing to do modding, then it's literally, there's a mod portal, you click on the button, search for the mods you want, and away you go. It's install them and away you go. It's so easy. So that's now hooked in and counting the resources. I've put a radar in it. Anything else that I've forgotten? Don't think so. So, if we edit that. I want everything bar the balancer. That. I want to keep train stop names. Excellent. Oh. I bet this is a horrible position and really I should move it up now. Let's have a look, see. Yeah, that's rubbish. Am I going to pick it all up? No. Right, let's just put a junction in then. That. weird. Have something like that. Right, have the spiders reloaded? The other advantage of doing it here is it's not. I mean, it's far because the base is enormous, but it's not as far. Oh, are you still loading up? Loading up on. Was it belts? We're not running out of belts, are we? What are you loading up on? Oh, it's modules. No? No, it is belts. It's weirdly delayed. Right, okay, so they're still going. Let's have a look at the clearance jobs. So we could fire in a load of shells down here. Clear out some of these. Speed the process up a bit. Don't know if there's anything in there. No, that's nothing. That looks like that's a base that should be destroyed. No, they're all fine. So it could well be something hidden in some of those that they just haven't got round to yet. Are we full yet? Oh, we're still going. Got to be it now. Got nothing being delivered. Bring it down. Yeah, so this is pretty ugly setup, but say it's the testing, you know, putting together type one. So I'm not sure if I mean I don't know if you I don't think you were here last week. I've lost track of time a bit, if I'm totally honest, because I've been playing this solid because it's my intention that this is kind of going to be the last setup episode. So from next week, it's a case of testing the science and testing the build essentially. Whether I get round to things like this, during this weekend, I don't know, but. If not, I will probably do them during the week because I kind of want to get this series knocked on the head because I'm getting a bit fatigued with it now. So basically it's things like this. What is actually the problem here? And I can only really work that out by running science. And so that's what effectively next week will be it'll be the turning on. So this needs to double at least. Might need to do a bit more, but that'll be my during the week thing where I just set it all, filling out solar panels and come back after an hour after it's done some stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much ready to rock, and I might do the belt replacement during the week while that's doing the panels and stuff. Depends how much spare time I've got. So the idea is next weekend we will test out science properly. I'm expecting the UPS to just tank down to 30 basically. If that does happen and it gets too annoying, then I've no problem. There's actually a mod I'll use to do it. I've no problem turning the biters off completely. Just deleting them all and stopping any, completely removing them because they're a chunk of UPS's biter stuff. So we can get rid of that. I think I've proven that, it's a sufficiently well defended base. That could also solve some of the power issues, and I mean artillery is another one that uses up a chunk of our UPS because it's basically like a gigantic radar. It's scanning for new bases. So we could just get rid of them, you see. Say, the focus needs to be on, can we get the science running, basically. And also, like this train issue here, if we turn the biters off, I don't need these to be defended or anything. You know, we don't need to drop off, you know, bullets and stuff because there's nothing to shoot. I could just delete these or just turn them off, save power that way. So if we have power issues, that'll help there as well. Are we not back yet? Come on. Oh, there's some bits of belt missing as well. Go and grab them. In fact, I might just jump in and we'll do it manually. Let you recharge. That's fine. Oh, we've got some plate flowing through. A bit of rail. Get all these splitters in, get that working. Why have you not got anything? I bet you're the one with the missing belts, are you? Something's wrong there, because they're backed up and others aren't. What's gone wrong there? Oh, I know what's gone wrong. I've put the... In fact, that's completely wrong, isn't it? Because it's loading in, but it can't go anywhere. And if I put... Well, that's what troubleshooting's for, I guess. Because basically that needs to have an output like that. If I put one of them, it can't load on. And it's because this needs to be the other way around, basically. Outs. Okay. Let's fix that then. So that's what troubleshooting's for. Right, so what we actually need to do then, pick all of this up, move it one tile over, stick you back in, and then this would need to be like that. Like that. Still be there. And then we have that like that. Oh no, I can't load it in like that either, can I? Because that's flipped over. Huh. That didn't work then. What about... did that... no. Output... that work? Need to do that there. Gonna need more belts. I can always revert back to the, you know, more open one. Just I'm aware the others were quite big. So if this is about coming here, what I need to do is I need to load that one on that side, and that one on that side as well. We've still got room for a power pole, substation one. Does that work? Yeah, that works, doesn't it? A bit weird, but that works. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So, Why have you not got prods in you? So we need to basically... Right, we need to delete... We need to delete all of the substations. All of the belts, all of the... Well, not all of the underground, but yeah, I can do the underground, I can do it in bits. If I do... that. In fact, I'm going to have to pick the... Unless... Let's think about that again, because I've... Would we do it on the other side? Would that be... Oh, don't load stuff in. Side. So in other words, we put this on the ground here. So these are... that, aren't they? Don't put stuff in. Does that work? No, it's not going to be enough room, is there? I need... That's still there. Oh, that's exactly the same, isn't it? Yeah, no, it is going to have to be. Like that. Whoops. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to pick the furnaces up. Oh. Okay. Oh, don't you fill up with rubbish. Yes, yes, I know, I know. Not got any patience, these bots. Just can't wait. Right, what are you moaning about? Iron plate. Yes, I know you've got iron plate. Somewhat wrong way around there. Yeah, biddly bob. Happy now? Oh, I've messed all of this up. What? Yeah. That's the wrong way around. Okay, that clears all of that out. Oh, and I bet yeah, spiders are full of rubbish, isn't they? How about you? Are you full of rubbish? Ah. Oh. Oh, didn't take the power things out of these. You're right, mess of this. Chuck that. Oh, but yeah, they're blooming. The network box are grabbing all that. Right. Yes, let's replace this. And then we can copy and paste it a couple of times. So there's more room in my inventory. These in. Oops. And what we're mainly about not having places to put. Plate. Just chuck it in the furnaces. I actually figured out why these guys grab stuff in preference to my, my personal Spidertron, and it's because my the purple one, my personal one, only has 2 roboports in, and the coverage area increases the more roboports you have. Essentially, they have bigger coverage than the purple one, so I was running around expecting my personal Spidertron to pick stuff up, and they were doing it instead because these can get it at a longer range. But of course they only have a couple of inventory slots spare, and everything else is full of stuff. So they fill up. They don't have anywhere to put anything. It's all very inconvenient. I should just stick these in a chest and blow up the chest, to be honest. A handful of iron plates at this stage is sort of irrelevant. Let these guys charge up. There's no charge. Right, this is all going to be misaligned as well, isn't it? So we need to sort that out, but at least this way I have too much extra material. Oops. That. Oh, you're trying to put in green. Okay. Yeah. Oh. One of them. No, nobody's got any extra bits. Right, so let's go and tidy up properly. In fact, let's get this job done. Wipe these in. Sort them out later. Because the other thing is the furnaces have like an internal storage buffer, so. Oh, we're out of juice again. If I swap maybe some of them out. Let's give it a tick then. Recharge. Yeah, they have like an internal storage buffer, so... What are we on? Yeah. So when you pick one up, you're picking up 100 of whatever as well. Where's the... Oh, there it is. This one on? Oh. Things kick back in. Okay, a bit more. Stuff. This is why you should use ghosts, because you end up like an idiot like me running back and forth with inventories full of rubbish. I'm a bit chronic with this. I tend to press the button without thinking, sort of thing. It'll all get sorted out in here. Again, I wish that the Mr. Fusion reactor produced more power. But there you go. Well, again, bloke. Or that the bots had bigger batteries. In fact, what I could do, thinking about it, if I just whack a load of that rubbish. And we'll just sort this all out in one fell swoop. Possibly by blowing it up. Right. How can we do? It's basically, I say, it's because these have the big internal buffer. We've got essentially dozens of furnaces with like 100 iron plate and whatever in there. And that's the bit that's taken a bit of a while to clear out. Because I don't want to blow the furnaces up. That would be quite expensive. Right. So, we could probably send the spiders round now to redo it all. Fingers crossed. I then need to move these belts down or up, whichever direction it is, by 1 or 2 even. They're not aligned properly again, which is why no plates flowing through. And let's leave that until they fit. Oh, I didn't. These guys are the ones that need to run. Purple. Purple's not got anything. Send you. Just in case. Got something useful? I don't think you have, but... Right, so, let's chuck as many of these as we can into the chests while we wait. Guess waste not, want not. It's a better philosophy than just blow it up. Cool. Can I put legs back on? Now, how much of them have I got? Right, masterclass on how to be an idiot is finished. Right. Says iron plate on all of those belts, which I am happy means we're sorted. We can just chuck these to the furnaces manually. So might as well just do that while we're here. And then we want to move these down by 2 tiles. We might as well just rework this, because it'll confuse me if I don't. And then these want to move down by 2 tiles as well. So again, I'll delete this and rework it because it'll confuse me if I don't. Okay. I wonder why it's all that middle one that's only just finishing off. Maybe I've forgotten inserters or something. Right, yes, okay, so this is just for this one because this is where we've designed it, so it'll all be a bit more compact and stuff on the proper builds. I've pre-identified which patches I want to grab over here. Because we're only grabbing from relatively local sources now, we don't need as many. But I do want sort of some like redundancy in the system, just because, as I say, if we end up with the patches like unevenly mined, which is almost inevitable, to be honest with you. So that wants to go. That's quite pretty there, isn't it? That sort of Doppler, not a Doppler, you know, like a spread out effect. Speaking of which, actually, it might have been, that might be how I could have got these properly like weaved in together, because if I'm splitting every single one, I could have done that later, further down. So I could have just taken these for, rather than, I mean, I'm quite keen to get balancing in because I'm aware I wasn't using it earlier, but I could have just put splitters on each of them, which would have squished it up a bit more, I think. Ow. Job's worth doing, it's worth doing badly. Right. No, wrong. No. Okay, so we need to redo this one? Yeah, this blueprint. Do that. So save it. Let's just check it does tile properly. That's that. Yeah, it's not making any noises, so that means it's all perfectly aligned. Good. Somehow we've ended up with not enough belts. Oh. Oh, it's just some tank. How are we doing? Oh, there's quite a big patch there. Yeah, we're starting to get into the bigger patches. So why don't we fire off a load of shells? over here, thin this out a bit preemptively. I say I'm not averse to eventually turning the biters off, just deleting them all. But that'll be kind of a decision for next week when we're actually testing the science running. If it's because I use the old debug to see where the FPS is going. But say I kind of already know that biters are a bit chunky. The old thing. It's not so bad when it's steady state, so we may be able to get away with not doing that. But it's things like you get a lot of ancillary stuff that you need. So like the flamer turrets and stuff. That if we delete biters, we can delete them as well, and they are like pointless UPS waste in a sense. Because the base is at a point where, I think I've demonstrated that biters are fine, as it were. Something's weird has happened here. Oh no. Is that part of the blueprint? That would be part of the blueprint, wouldn't it? Obviously missed that little bit about there. And that bit there. Okay. No problem. So this is why we do one live development, you see. So that way we can fix all the bugs in the first one. I was wondering why it wasn't really all that heavy, as it were. So if we send you there and you there, I click on. Oh, there you go. So let's do that blueprint again then. Yeah, look, just out there. The underground. Doesn't matter which one I do, it's all the same. Yeah, so now it's a solid belt. I mean, it's solid because these are all backed up, you know, with 100 whatever iron plate as well, as it were. Which is why he stopped, because there's just so much pumping through coming out of those guys, but eventually that'll clear itself up. Okay, so this is splitting, you know, a 2 to 1, sorry, 1 to 2. Oh, we're getting some gaps there. Is that? Yeah, so this is cleared through. Okay, see, so it's not a completely solid belt, but I'm not expecting it to be, because there should be one more. But that one other one would be sort of mostly not actually producing stuff. It would just be filling in like the tiny little gaps. So I'm not going to bother with it. Not given I'm splitting it across, you know, so many stations. This is the response to me firing out lots of shells. See if we can't tidy the edge up. So we've got a bit of a colony here. Yeah, I want to do this bit legitimately. So if it gets to the point where, right, you know, everything's set up and it's just a case of bug fixing the science and the trains and things like that, I've no problem deleting the biters at that stage, because it's, you know, they've become completely redundant then. Okay. Okay. Let's grab me stuff. Go. Let's make sure Um. Oh. Oh. Oh, of course they were out of repair. So. This is another thing I should fix in the design. This should be a buffer chest, basically. This one here. Because if it's a requester chest, you can't actually grab repair packs from it. I'll leave that one. And effectively, I'm just moving repair packs up for no reason. What I can do is I can convert them into... Not that one. Storage. And then they can grab the packs. I should actually be loading them into the ports, really, but... Say, another small error that... Can't be bothered to fix. Chilling out. Oh. Not that one. It's one of the reasons I wish you could edit blueprints in the game. Just doing things like this. I suppose it's what creative mode really is for in a sense, but I don't want to keep hopping back and forth with that. If you could edit blueprints and I could just swap out this in the blueprint, I would have done it, but it means laying down the blueprint, changing the things, redoing the blueprint. Whereas I can just come along and replace the chests and it's done. Right, yes, okay. What we should probably do is head back. But I'm wondering... Because what I'm going to do, this is connected down the bottom, but it's only connected here, and this is a terrible junction to have in this location, because it's going to act as a bottleneck. But I don't really want to connect this here, because I'm going to have the same problem, but also I'd have to turn more of them round. What I should really probably do is have some, because we've got a big chunk of space here. So we could have all the trains come along this way, like that, and connect into this system. Effectively, this would become then one big main line. I'm not sure I want to do that yet. And if I did do that, I've put this on the wrong way around, but it's a quick fix. Yeah, let's head back. Make sure everybody is stocked up and I can fill about with the artillery. Oh, somebody's not following us. We'll hook up the copper, because I can literally put it by the side. I might just belt that over because it's not a big patch, but we'll put the copper in there and connect it up to this side. And then we'll do the coal, and then we've kind of covered all of the bases. Because for gold science, all I need is coal, copper, and iron. We don't need any stone at all. No. So that is slightly easier. I'm going to have to redo these anyway, aren't I? Because they're all pointing that way. We don't want them connected there anyway. So kind of, if I'm reworking all of them anyway, I might as well do something to sort of alleviate any issues with that junction. Because one of the things, one of the reasons, so basically, the train system I am using, I built for a 242 train system. And if I'd really thought about it, I should have reworked it for the 484. But I didn't, actually. So I've just ploughed on with the old system. And so basically these sections are half as long as they need to be. So when I'm putting in junctions, I'm not thinking about the fact that actually a train is that long rather than that long. So where's an example? Well, actually, here's an example. A train doesn't fit between there. So, or rather, the trains for the science don't fit between. The old trains would. But basically, if a train comes out of here, and it will, it'll block these junctions. So, if one stops there, I think it would just fit in there. But one stop behind it will then block all the junctions. Where really, what you should always do is have enough space between junctions for an entire train to sit in. Because then it's only going to block like the trains behind it. One waiting for this junction could block this one, but it wouldn't block this one as well. We can kind of get around it. I could rework some of these junctions just to give more space. I have left myself quite a lot of room to sort things out. Like that, that's horrendous, that. I'm also kind of hoping that the trains are big enough that, with enough stuff on them, that it sort of doesn't matter, that they won't be doing too many journeys. Because the little bit of testing I've done, so for example, if a gold train turns up and needs reloading, it doesn't use a train's worth of any one material. So it's only when a second train turns up that one train would need to go. And there's sufficient buffered in the chests, etc., that, it could probably do the full journey before another train would turn up. So I'm sort of hoping that it's big enough that, it's effectively a latency question. But, they can essentially do, they're not too many trains going to be driving round, basically. And I've spread it across sufficient junctions to try to achieve that. But it's blue where I'm likely to have the problem, because that issue only really occurred to me later on. So it's going to be blue that's the biggest question on that front. I will say it's tough to fill the airtime with these, because I have to move such enormous distances. But there's a lot of sort of waiting for things to happen. What's going on here? Oh, we've got 12 random cables. I suppose if I was doing this again, I'd know a lot of the problems beforehand. As in, let's clear some of this out. As in the fact that, you really need a solar factory, basically. So we could have, a stream or two developing that sort of thing. Whereas I've just muddled on with what I've got. So it's slowed everything down, really. If you've got 5... Have you got 5 shells? Yeah, okay. So this is all clear. It's just this little bit here. Missed some nests, did I? Yeah. The key thing is getting rid of the nests. The worms, they can just pick off at leisure. Doesn't make a lot of difference to us. How are we doing? So I'm done. We got belts. Looking at the wrong one. Yeah, it looks like we're done, I think. Okay, let's head back again. Oh, I haven't had a use for you. Yeah, so we'll do the copper as a sort of a test case for the blueprints. Guess I need to change that then. So just iron plate. That. Oops. There's a weird noise then. That was, I think that was my something, a Windows notification, so hopefully that didn't come. Right. Are you done? Okay. Right, while we run back. Yeah, I was just like, so if there's any questions, we'll have to field them. Just say, while I'm running backwards and forward, there's not a lot to sort of. What I would do if I wasn't streaming it is I would go and, I don't know, I'd probably have a YouTube video running at the same time and sort of watch that. Maybe go and make me dinner or something, you know. But, oh, some big bunch of lads coming in there. Particularly if anyone's new to the stream, if you want me to sort of show you what's going on in the base. Do that. So it is a bit of a beast by now. Still not back. So things I would like in vanilla is a white science, you know, space research that increases the range of radars, because, excuse me, when you get to these sorts of scales, the blueprints are impossible to see when you're zoomed in. Have you just destroyed my laser turret? That's not very nice of you. Poor lad left there, doesn't know what he's doing. Don't do that. They are horrible, the spit. Trying to put a bit of wall on top of it. Oh, the mates have turned up. Are you not going to bring some proper stuff over here and sort it out? Have we run out of substations or something? No, got loads of substations. They're just. There we go. That's more like it. Right, I think we've arrived. What I'll do. I'm going to move them well out of the way. There'll actually be, so because this was overlapping the bot network, there'll be a load of rubbish in here, which I'll have to come and clear up. There you go. So we've got 74 bits of iron ore, 879 bits of iron plate. What else? We got any trees and stuff? No, I can't see any of that. But I'll have to clear all that up later on. I don't have to. Probably end up doing that. Right, so miners, mine. So maybe if I do it sideways, that'd make like splitting it up a bit easier. Not fussed about totally mining the patch out, but not leave too much spare. Is that good? Oh, probably okay. Yeah, there we go. And then we use this nifty little trick to flip everything around. So I never knew it did this. Maybe it's a recent thing, but it turns the undergrounds round as well. Right, so we oops. Everything up. Oops. Like that, and oh, and then we can copy and paste that. Over. Cool. So we got 2, 4, 6, 7. So we want a 7 to 8 balancer again. To 8. Now. And we want to try and work out where's going to be convenient. Put the smelters in. Probably. Maybe think in terms of where's my input? My inputs there, isn't it? So I want enough room to. That was there. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's gonna keep us sorted, isn't it? So on. Put that on the 4th one. Oops. Cool, so we got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 more, so 1. 8. Oh. Should have turned my bots off. Oh well. Oh well. Am I going to have room here? Might be a bit tight. Gonna be more than tight. Oh, that's annoying. So I should have done it with ghosts. Because really, it'd be better if I was putting it this way. I was going to grab that as well, wasn't I? Doesn't matter. In fact, I bet you lot filled that out, didn't you? Okay. Let us. Do all that. That's why you should do ghosts. Right. Can I just turn this round? It's a fairly square looking patch. We'll see how that works out. So, in that case, these sort of in the middle-ish. So if we line up there again. What do I want still? Room is that going to give? Let's turn them off properly now. See, if we end up with this sort of here-ish, then we need them actually. Do I need a bit of a runway on that? I don't know that I do. It was just because this was going to overlap like that. That was the problem. So if we put this on the side, it gives us plenty. You know, it can be that close, but so it was just that it was going to overlap. Okay, so maybe if I put that so that. What am I going to do with the second? If that was there, I'll align that with that. This was theoretically somewhere there, and then I, drag them that way. Does that leaving? Still pretty tight, isn't it? Again, still. So we need enough room to move the belts round. That's going to be down to there-ish. Oh, it's too close. Okay. I'm going to have to double the belts back, I think. Room. So if we put them aligned with this one. In other words, we're going to have 8 coming out of there. We need sort of 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Need safety. Okay. That's probably a better place to put it. Then we can have that. But we should move it down one so that we don't have a weird kink. But that goes there. Yeah, that's plenty of room. Okay, so. Oops, we actually want it up. That way. And to be there-ish, I think. Yeah, so we'll weave these around here, these down here, and I mean, it's only 5 million, not exactly a big loss. Yeah, okay. Seven, 8, 16. We didn't hit the lake. Oh. It's not 5. Is it 5 foot? Oh, crikey. So, that was that. I wanted it 2 over. Yeah, plenty of room. Okay, so. Oops. Okay. The time has kind of gotten away from me there. Almost at the end of the stream. Almost 20 minutes or so, but I thought there was ages left. Well, I could do a little bit longer today, I guess. I was quite keen to set up a coal one as well, and then it's sort of they're all done, and I know they all sort of work. Working quotes, obviously, there's no... In fact, we could actually get some of the trains running. So the train side of it is all ready to go. Oh, ready to go. Oh. Oh no, I couldn't do that, could I? Because none of the rail is pointing in the right direction. Is that 8? No. What have I missed there? It's difficult to see with the trees in the... There you go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I've just not hooked one up. There we go. Let's just get a shotgun on the thing. Solves most problems. Right, so that should actually go to there. That doesn't seem right. 1, 2. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there we go. That. 8. Line it up with... Right, let's... I always forget that this doesn't do the auto... like, straight line bit. So that wants to be on. Nice long straight bit. That. Okay. I essentially want the sort of reverse of that. Over here. Oops. I really love ghosts, as it were. Not that sort of ghost. But they can be very difficult to see on certain types of background. So I can't tell what's going on there now. Let's align something somewhere. There we go. 2. Oops. Sorry, trying to concentrate. Get this right first time, because so I'd quite like to set a coal one up as well for the end of the stream. So I need to get this one basically right first time. Okay, let's assume I've got that right. Always a risky thing. I don't, you know, when they did this, they balanced it. I don't think they intended us for us all of us to have 1 million roboports in. I think because this is like, is it 4 roboports altogether? 5? I can't remember. Must be 5 because it supports 5 robots. But I think they intended that you would have like 2, and the rest would be full of fusion generators. Whereas everyone goes in and they have like 8 roboports. I mean, you can't actually support 8, but you know, I usually have 5 or 6. So you run out of power very quickly. Now, I don't think that's their intention. So I think they set the Roboport Mark II at 25 because it was like, well, people will have 2 Roboports and that'll be 50 robots. I might have to tweak this a little bit because obviously just flipped it round rather than actually set it up properly. Looks okay. Right, let's bring the spiders over, fill out everything. What I will do is leave it unpowered. Is it already powered? By accident? No, I'll leave it unpowered. I will just have a quick look at it. So is any of this... Something gone wrong there. I said this before. I also don't get the logic of having a tiny grid area on the Spidertron, given it's meant to be at least 4 times as high as ours. This giant cupola that we can apparently sit in, I think is meant to be as big as a tank. It has a smaller grid on it somewhere. Hang on, you're leaving your bots behind. Stand there for a bit. So let's have a look. Have I got all of this the right way round? That's the input. That's the output. It's all good. Is that bit missing? That's what's in there. We will need to connect power up between these different bits because at the other one we've got the the automatic connection, as it were. Right. I bet there weren't enough belts. Cool. Right, so let's hook it up to the... Bots run out of power and then they can't catch up with the spiders and then they just run around doing nothing. Follow them around rather than doing nothing. Ah, that's wrong. Okay. I'll go and do the train bit. I could grab some resources out. I grab some belts and stuff. About to have a load. Oh no. Oh no. Some belts. Right, anyway. Sort that. Now we need right hand turn. There. There. We'll have to tweak it because that's not connected. But say I want to see if we can't fill it in. So I can at least eyeball it a little bit. Has somebody got some rubbish in? That's why. Or hanging around? No, just a charging issue. Why not? Oh, it's just a charging issue. I'll grab some of this belt then. I'll do your job for you. That's all right. What we're missing? Splitters. But I don't think there just aren't enough splitters. Because when I set up the outposts, I wasn't using as many balancers, so that's why we're running out of splitters. No. We might as well hook it up then, because it won't run. But we can at least check it. What we've got. Oh! I left my... This is... I was wondering why I didn't fill out a load. I don't think that matters, because I think spiders have all laid it down, but nothing there that needed. I was wondering where it all went. Yeah, so we're out of belt as well. Okay. So I'm basically going to have to set up... Oh, I didn't put balancers there, did I? Can I fit one in? Let's let that run through. Oops, that, no, can't reach. Oh, it's not doing anything anyway, because this needs splitters. I can do that off the street. Head back. Livestream's basically, that's it. How big is an 8x8? Yeah. You tend to get the even to even. Fits in quite well. So if we take that out. Then put these back in. There's not too much on these belts. Oh, and you're going to do it anyway. Oh, that's annoying. Doesn't fit. How badly doesn't it fit? Okay, I could do something horrendous here. It's got to go there. How about we move this down? On there. That goes. Can I weave that round, or is that's work, is it? Put that there. Oh, this is going to be awful. I don't think it works anyway. No. Oh! Lost it all. Okay. So, I'm going to have to put this up here. Put some horrible kinks in. This all needs moving up one. Oh, and that didn't work anymore, does it? I'm doing well here. Dear me. Right, so this is going to have to go down one. Oh, I'll sort that. What a mess I've made right at the end there. It'd be more I'll be honest, more sensible, I think, to stick it here and then just turn them back round again. But why? What is going on there? So that should be there, shouldn't it? That should be that one. I can't, because of the nature of that splitter, it would have to be there. I'm just going to do that afterwards. That's it for today, I think. My brain's turned to mush. I would have liked to have tested it on stream with the copper, but small errors. I mean, I could just move this down a rail piece and that'll fit then. But that means pulling it all up again. We saw how long that took last time. In fact, that's what I'll probably do, to be honest with you. So that'll take a while. It's just slightly. Yeah, okay. Right then. So that's it for today. Tomorrow. Yes, there is always tomorrow. I'll fix it. I'll fix it either in between, so it'll be done by then. Tomorrow, what I'll do, I'll set up a coal one, and we'll do these. What I might do, I say, depends how much time I get between tomorrow's stream, but I might plop some of these in because you've seen it now. You've seen what it looks like. Seen me design it. So say I'll just plop them in because it's just I say we're at the stage where it's just repeating a lot of stuff. And as I say, I want to get this series done, so, or at least get to the bit where we're working on troubleshooting the science next week. So I'm just going to push on with this sort of stuff. But we'll do the whole hooking it up, reworking the rails tomorrow, and I will leave at least one coal, so you can see that sort of put together. And in the meantime, I will also extend this. Literally all it'll be the same size. I will literally copy and, once we've cleared it all out, I will copy and paste these walls up, and then it'll just be a case of plopping in the blueprints. And the solar train it's actually switched off at the moment, but the solar train just drops off panels and accumulators, so it just expand this way. And as I say, basically the idea with the power is, so if we look at the chart, so you can kind of tell that it would run the base on idle. I could delete the steam powered turbine and we wouldn't suddenly have brownouts now. But when I turn the science on, at the very least, this goes up to 10 gigawatts. And I say there's a load more. So we need, at the moment, I need the steam turbines to do all the extra stuff for the science. And I need to get away from that because I do want to delete nuclear power. Because, you know, that's a known thing. Because particularly with nuclear power, is it in time usage? Because it says the heat manager. There you go. So this heat manager is basically the heat pipes. And as you can see, it's quite a chunky little bit. You know, obviously the entities, which is, you know, the thousands of assemblers I've got, is a real big one. You can see that's the equivalent of all of the circuit networks I've got. And since we can just delete that and replace it with solar, which has virtually no, you know, no extra additional cost to it, we might as well just do that. I'm pretty sure the electric network is also the nuclear as well. Might not be. That might be what it costs to do solar. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, so trains is going to be a big one. That'll usually jump up. I'm not sure if it shows the biter cost on this one. I don't think it does. Is it in the detail? I mean, Pathfinder is mostly biters. Anyway, yeah. So that's all next week, probably. Right, yes. So if you've been watching it, thanks for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed it, even though it was a bit sort of messy. I will be back tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock, British Summer Time. Schedule's on my Twitch page. We didn't have the dropout, or at least, I mean, nobody shouted that, you know, it had gone wonky. Now, I did note this on the Factory, but I forgot to say it today. The phone company was doing some work out in the street and literally like outside my house. So I'm wondering if there was maybe a fault on the line and that was what was causing it to drop out. But certainly we don't appear to have had any problems today. And if there was, the fact that OBS does the reconnect has hopefully smoothed it over. But yeah, it's interesting that they were working on the street and then it's not happened this week. So that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, so I'm rabbiting on. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you have a good one. And I say, if you've been watching, thanks for joining me. And I hope to catch you in another one. Cheers. Oh, I've forgotten how to do this with OBS now. Hang on. I click